Hello Blender folks, we are back to this contraption. It is a very difficult task and I've solved it finally. Well, that was really challenging, and fortunately I've identified many of the problems, and I didn't want to share all that process because it was really chaotic and required a lot of concentration, right? So here now I'm gonna more make a demo, like a demonstration of what I've done from that other previous state of the rig to this current state. So I've just solved it, so let's make some, it's not IK spine, it's Bendy bone spine, FKIK, it's a false IK. Okay, so I'll save that. And then I'll even save that as a 2. And then this is for organization, folks. It's not that I want to. And then this will be back. So that was my backup. And I start working on this 2 here. Okay. I'll start work. I'm gonna show you what is all this about. So in comparison to the previous state of the rig, I had to make lots of adjustments, radical change to the spine rig, to the torso rig that I had, and it's not totally completed because for some parts of the I still have to remake the torso and the lower part of the body, the hips rig, in relation to all these relations, right? So I leave that later because it shouldn't be too difficult. It's another section, right? The important thing is that, as we can see here, what is happening. So here is my false spine, bendy bone spine IK rig. So there's no IK bone constraint here. So this is how this is stretching everything and squashing. It gives this sort of IK controlling thanks to this major bendy bone spine that is here. And I have a minor controller for only the head rotation. So even making this was already challenging because, wow, what is the parent? What is the, and then was another problem that my def bone, I guess, has got all the, no, it was not even the def bone, it was this control bone. It was previously the master bone, and I had a control bone that wasn't working, so this def bone doesn't have any parenting except for the features of the face rig. Let me just check here. And if these bones weren't in synchrony, the perfect synchrony, these two, the control bone and the def bone, the face will like become a blob all the time, so it was not enough to parent the control bone, and then the red bone will follow the head, def head bone will follow. Now we'd have to make a double parenting otherwise, and even though there is the copy transforms, it was not enough. So this because the head bone and also that bone, I'm not sure right now, that's what I'm gonna show. They have many other features. For example, this mesh is probably parented to the master head, yes, and I can't even change the name of the bone. The master head is actually this one, is the control, because if I change this, all these things break. So let's do this. This will be the control bone. So it didn't broke. So how is it possible? Okay, it didn't broke, so but it was happening, so it's updating. Maybe something broke, I'm not sure, but yeah, something bizarre was happening, but whatever. This is now the control, and so they needed to have perfect synchrony, and this is why if we check their parent, where it is, okay, they are parent to this spine. I don't want to change this name also because, well, there's a logic here. It is really a tip spine b-bone handle. I should change some though. Yeah, it's time that I re-update my naming of that. Hold on, there's too many bones showing here. Let's take this selection. Now it's better. So yes, this bendy bone not bendy bone, sorry, this tip, this handle is actually here the is actually really the master I-key bone. So what I could do instead is to avoid this stacking of functionalities, even though this is quite abstract, it's more conceptual, but yeah, I don't like the idea to create more bones, but then I don't like the idea to... So I can do this to have a better organization of the rig. So I probably should duplicate this bone, right? Okay, first I'll reduce its size, then I duplicate, then no, it's not this, it's that. Okay, so, and now I must keep this one in place, and this one should, so we have two of them, right? But what must happen here is that this one will take the functionalities of this one, not through bone constraint, because there's no bone constraint, so it's more like, so this is the 5, so this would be actually the master head bone, the false I-key, right? So you have a def head, a control head for the rotation, and a master head for here. Of course it doesn't, currently is that one, right? And so first I'll destroy all its stuff here, the custom shapes it had. Now it's back here. Now I can turn it into a, well, I don't want to be able to move it right directly, because so it will be more like a mech bone, a mechanism bone, even though this will make them, hold on, okay, this is an extra bone. This is the complicated part I'm gonna show soon. So the where is the, yes, here. So it's a tip bone. I'll give it a tip color, right? This is how I manage these things, so it gets some identity, because it's really, oh, this is a tip bone also. Okay, it gets another color because this one, differently from that one, is controllable, but it remains a tip bone. So let's do this for them, although it was not my, yeah, they are actually very important, so this will be an exception, right? And of course I could create more bone now, whatever. I'll have to think about this, the better organization. But so now let's parent this one, not parent, use the copy transforms bone constraint, and here we go. Is it replace? Okay, all that, and voila. So this bone now can go smaller, and we cannot control it anymore. but at least now I can, its name remains on the same place, and I think I should do that to those. Unfortunately, this will be a lot of bones, but we have layers, and bones aren't really that horrible, right? So the idea of making a more simplified rig goes more and more disrupted, right? On the positive side, okay, so what's cool about this rig? Okay, I have this controlling, and then as I pose the spine, whatever thing like that, then these bones I can also make this sort of manipulations, right? So you see that how it gets away from, it gets the tiny deforms, right? And yes, this is indeed some sort of stacking transforms, but it's a very special case in which it really matters to have this tiny controlling here, I guess, because then we can animate here. Oh, I want to pull the head here. Okay, let's pull the head here. No need to do this F key like that. So, and if we want, however, if we just want to animate the character on that, we can just use this and avoid to use this one that kind of moves everything. So we just move this thing, and yeah, and of course I keep some not in this case, but for this bone I probably would keep some sort of combo, like of copy rotation and dumped track, I think, or track 2, I think it's track 2 in this case, but to some sort of temporarily, I think I have it somewhere. Yes, this can be done. There are a lot of softwares, sorry, not softwares, there are a lot of features in Blender that can do that. I think Rigify add-on has, Rig on the Fly has, is the aiming features. Like, let's see, there's something here, but I cannot use this properly in this rig, because Rig on the Fly is for rigs which are full F key def bones, right? It gives rig in real time as you animate, like, so this IKF key switch is very cool, but if I use it here it would probably cause some disruption. Not even gonna try, but it works actually. Perhaps not so well in this version, need to check, but yeah, it would make an automatic switch that, like, just like Rigify add-on, except that it has an automation for, I don't know if Rigify has this, because Rigify didn't have Pierrick, that animator, rigger, teacher who makes tutorial, made a whole tutorial on something like that, an IKF key switcher exacting post feature to exact the keyframes, the pose, because they don't merge perfectly once you switch from one to, and this feature in Rig of the Fly, sorry, is doesn't suffer from any of those problematic. It's just because what it does, it completely destroys temporarily the IK chain, so we don't have to deal with the IK chain as we pose for F key, and then when it goes back, when we move back, it rebuilds the rig entirely. So this is scripting in Blender. It's a very smart thing. And then it remakes the rig for I key updated already to the F key position, something like that, right? All right, but my solution is different. I don't even require I key F key switch. You know why? Because I have this contraption here, double I key rig for the limbs. I don't have double I key here for the spine, although yeah, it's not. I don't even have one I key for the spine. It's a false I key, and then, but this is a cool thing because it was achieved with bendy bones. So I have like F key and then I have I key. Interesting, right? It's like a reconstructing. But I wouldn't have achieved this probably if it weren't for this tutorial. What it is, that one from Armin Halak.
Oh, shit.
And this is the most complicated part that I was struggling with. He calls it a buffer bone. So what it does is that so actually these are the yes, those are the tip bones. I had to challenge. My challenge was a bit different, but essentially is the same logic. So, but I was missing something. There are many things that were going wrong, but I'll try to show what solved the rig, how it is structured to work. And later on, I will make a tutorial for a spine, bendy bone spine rig with this full features. Yeah, so one big issue I was having, because this is the remains of my ancient rig, is that the arms, they were getting all full scaled because of the automatic scaling of the bendy bones and all this parenting that was here. So as I was doing these transformations, the arms got crazy, like that happens on spline key bone constraint for spines as well, and for arms whatever. When you connect the F key chain of the spline key bone constraint to the rest of the to the hand, so you cannot make direct connection like in a normal F key rig. This would disrupt, because then these bones will all be influenced by the stretch and squash of the bendy bones in the spline key bone constraint, and it's really it's complicated to solve without knowledge of what it does. And because of the features, there are a lot of copy transforms here which copy the scale, and we cannot remove the scale from being copied. So these, even the spine bones, the control, the tip bones, no, not these ones. Okay, so certain bones, they get so we cannot parent. So these are my master shoulder bones. They are just for controls. They are not the form bones. They cannot be parented to all this contraption of the rig spine. Otherwise, they will scale themselves, and I would have to make take this off, but I don't want to do this. This is too radical thing. Then who knows? Maybe at some point, when I scale the armature for whatever reason, I don't know, they don't inherit the scaling and inherit scale. Yeah, no, and this could be problematic. So maybe there are some options here to avoid unexpected. Well, I don't know, but I wouldn't do that. I would attempt another logic, and then there was this solution that I had to create an entire chain of mechanism bones. Not an entire chain, yes, something like, which is a basic thing to do on advanced rigging. Like you have multiple chains of bones, so you can avoid crossing of features, which will of course cause havoc on the rig. So for multiple reasons, especially when you are doing all this sort of F key developments, right? So the rabbit hole, we go deeper in it. So then I have to create this extra bone, because my ancient control bones for the spine, they were these blue ones, but then I had to substitute them, delete them, whatever, and actually they become what did they become? Yes, my previous control bones, they become the the buffer bones, which this is the most interesting thing in this tutorial, and it was where I was failing. I wasn't understanding exactly what was happening here. It's too fast.
Scale it down so it's easier to select. Rename it to buff neck.
I'll just
Projected in pose mode, rest pose. Middle handle again. Press Ctrl A and choose apply selected as rest pose. Just to make sure that the bone's position will be the same in edit and pose mode.
Okay, so what's happening here? He has got this chain, so it's like the big bendy bone, and then two bendy bones, splines, like this one and that one. And then let me see, yes, I'm showing that. Okay, then what's happening is that at this point,
Like a string.
yes, this one was following this tip bone, this handle was indeed following the larger bendy bone motion with that with this kind of where it is, this kind of copy transforms. In his case it was exactly on the middle, so it was 0.5. In my case they are set on slightly different positions, so this, and unfortunately I can't change the rest position for this, or I couldn't yet. I'm still gonna investigate something to have this as the rest position. This applying thing in this case doesn't work, because you see why he's not suffering from that, or at least is because apparently he is rigging the neck straight, like, and I don't want I've already made some curve here, so I'm rigging it. I'm trying to make this curve as closer to that one, but it's impossible because I just have one spline here, but I can try to approximate, whatever. Going back there, so I have this copy transforms here, and yes, that here, and this is very important, this option, it's follow B bone, so this is one of the reasons these things work. Then replace, this is, I thought I could achieve something with with the others, to have the bone free, the tip free, but the tip was in the middle, not with this custom shape, this widget, so don't confuse. This is indeed the handle bone, and it was in the middle, and then yes, it is like here, there you go, it is large, it is the middle of the bendy bones. Okay, and so this is the one that had the copy transforms bone constraint, and then we replace word space. Okay, so this is more or less this is the technique, but then there is a switch of copy transforms, and so this is achieved, and this is where I was missing something here.
Middle handle bone to the neck, he lost the option to animate it, so let's fix
he's duplicating
that now. Start by duplicating it and scale it down so it's easier to select.
Yeah, I don't understand buffer bone, what this, but it's interesting, maybe it's an accurate naming.
Rename it to buff neck. and parent the original handle to this new bone.
Okay, so that starts to get intriguing, right? So what happens is that in this case, this would be my, this max spine would be do not confuse with that one. This is this is for parenting the arms stuff. This is something else, and actually this mech bone is actually parented to the master torso. I could parent it to this instead, actually, because now I have this one. So it would be the mech chain. I don't think this would break anything in the rig, so let's make sure. Of course I had this disabled. Okay, here we go. Okay, so apparently this was okay, a good parenting, a good correction on the rig. Although it wouldn't really affect, but now it has more. It's more adequate now. So then the tip is here, the handle. It had previously the copy transforms to that bone, the big bendy bone spine, right? On, of course, that positioning. You see, on that positioning. So this is, and did I messed up this thing? Yes, I messed up the parenting. No, I didn't. This, yes, here we go. Then it gets the copy the buffer bone actually gets the copy transforms, give its copy transforms to the whatever. Maybe I had to make different from him, but whatever.
Buffer bones is very common in Blender because many constraints don't have transformation offsets. Select the middle handle again and delete its constraints. As you can see, transformation offsets. Select.
Yes, so this is the thing. The
middle handle again and delete its constraints.
The thing that loses the bone constraint, the transforms, is precisely the tip bone. It's precisely the handler. And usually I always thought, and this is a bit counterintuitive, because usually when we want that to be controlled by a larger, a more important bone. This is why I call this a tip bone, because previously on my rig I had control bones such large like this, the blue one, controlling the tip bones, and I wouldn't touch the tip bones. And at that point, the tip bones, they didn't have copy transforms, or if they did, they just copy transform to that. I didn't have this feature here of the false key feature, but now I needed to have. So then, let's go back here. Hold on, just let me check here. Okay.
As you can see,
and so he can now move that bone freely.
Now we can freely transform.
He can transform freely directly from posing the handle bone in the middle.
The middle handle, but it still follows the neck.
But and this other bone that is not actually any handle, it's a false handle. It's the buffer bone. Apparently it is what's the name of it?
As the next step, let's add still its constraints don't have a bone.
Buff neck.
Adding buffer bones is very common in Blender because many constraints don't have transformation offsets.
Okay, so this neck and this is the buffer. Okay, so the buffer one for him is my mech spine 3, because I have many. So this one is parented to yeah, I've lost here. Okay, it's parent to the shoulder, okay, that one in the back, but is the parent of the tip, exactly. So the tip bone that I use for controlling is parented to a bone, a mechanical bone, mechanism bone that is rigid, that is static, and that is being manipulated by first hand by this, and then on a second hand by this. Yeah, and then I have those different sections. And so this exchange, basically it's, let me save here, that basically you get your tip bone, you duplicate it, and then you get, here it's duplicated, then you parent it to the buffer bone, the mech bone that is not supposed to be posed anymore, but it's following that thing, and it gets the copy transforms of course I don't have here for my tip bone, because I already made that switching. So basically it will be like previously this didn't get the bone constraints, the buffer didn't have that, the tip bone had, so I can, because it was duplicated, then it already had the bone constraint, and we just delete. In this case I'm gonna just copy again, and then I just I was deleting the wrong bone the bone constraint for the wrong bone, not for the buffer bone. No, I was deleting the bone constraint exactly from the bone that was supposed to maintain it. So this is why also we delete here, while the other maintains the, and even though it is the parent, it is stiff. And so this is really counterintuitive for me, at least. I've found that usually the parent bone is often something that has big advantage regarding control rig, right? But this is not the case, because there's this whole contraption here follows that large. So very, very good tutorial. You should check this out, but it's a very specific case. But actually this trick is really, really interesting. This was incredible tutorial that shows how this is achieved. I don't think there are tutorials that maybe at this point there should be, but this was the first one that I've seen this. So this allows for some false IK rig on Bendy bones rig. Instead of using spline IK bone constraint, of course it's largely different in many ways, but it's still spline skinning. It would sort of automate the process of making IK, right, inverse kinematics. But in this case we have to kind of rebuild it, and this is some way to achieve this with some degree of precision. And I like it because we don't need a curved object, but we still suffer from the same issue of that we need to be careful about the parenting, right? Because the same things will happen of you wanna see? Let me show you how, if I parent this to the buffer bone, to the whatever there is here, whatever I parent here, because of the copy transforms, right? Because if we see look at the size of this bone, it is suffering, right, from, and this happens for the others, as I guess, exactly. So as nothing here is reliable to parent to, even though it would probably stay in place, as we see what will happen to the to the hand, to the arms. That's it. Really terrible, right? So that is why the master shoulder, all the arm rig depends on this, and so it cannot be, we must be very careful to what we parent. And in this case, because I cannot parent this to all the contraption here, I made some copy location, word spaces, all that, simple, and to that bone, but I could have done to that, not sure what is better, but it's just so this will be equivalent to an offset parenting, except it doesn't inherit the scale, and so that is why I cannot do copy transforms here, and I cannot parent here, but I can make this. I could probably make, I'm not sure exactly about, let's use the buffer bone. No, the buffer bone is, I don't trust it. I prefer the tip bones, at least I think it's more precise, but maybe it doesn't really matter, I think. Actually, it will be safer to put here because this is the parent, right? And so what I was going to show how this. Okay, let's do this because their starting position is the same anyway. So okay, so now I will have trouble for scaling, right? You see, I have trouble here, or better to say, but where is my here? So the parenting don't work, but I could take off this inherit. No, not inherit scaling, and that should solve it for. And all those features, maybe I should study that. I don't remember all that. Maybe some of these are new, but whatever. So parenting doesn't work. Well, it works if we use that feature. The other thing I would like to try is child of bone constraint. That if we take off the scaling factor, never sure about these things, set in, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, take off that. There is no space here for reference, like owner space, target space. There's no stuff like that here. It is locked. Okay, it was supposed to be locked, and if I do this, of course the arms are not scaling anymore. So yeah, child of bone constraint works in this case. So I can simplify. Good. All right. I don't know if I got through all that. Because then is just repetition. Of course, we have to make sure that let's get this thing here, selection set. So as I said, the master torso and the hips, which you don't see here, the hips is not available here because this is something I still have to fix with parenting. I'm not sure how I would be able to solve this. Actually, it's like I need to create some F key thing here again, right? Because now this chain is sort of compromised, right? I need to yeah, I cannot parent things anyhow now because yes, it's a new setup and it's a bit new to me, but I'll have to find a solution. I'm not gonna do it now, I said previously, and So let's continue investigating. So just finishing, right, what I've started. So let's see. It's more like a revision. I'm trying to see if I can hide some bones here, and if I pick all those bones and like move them to some empty layer, then I could have easier time working with this presentation, because where is my layer? It's that one. Okay, so it's here. It's just for presentation. After I'll not save this file. I hope I don't make this mistake. So yes, now I can hide and unhide without issuing. Wait, don't want that. Hide and hide. Great. So let's hide this head bone also. Something is missing. Yeah, there are missing bones. This moves to this place. I need to make this selection again. Apparently some bones didn't move. Well, now I believe they did. Okay, finally, now, so the tip bones, the first layer, right? The first basal things. It's okay, let's do the inverse. Let's start by hiding stuff. Okay, this would be the neck bone. I ended up adding it some it's stretch to bone constraint is wrong. Okay, this gonna be hidden, this, and then of course something something failed again. Yeah, I forgot that one. Okay, so you see that this tip bone, this handle is different from that one, but the only difference is because since they are not part of the middle of the chain of the splines, right? Like this one are right in the middle of the big spline, so they have different functions for the rig. So in principle, this is most likely working like an F-key spine bone, because it's the basal one, but it's not enough. I think it should have a control bone for it. Alright, so this will be some sort of F-key thing, right? So which bone constraints we have here? For the tip bones, well, there is nothing. Then this is the stretch to bone constraint, simply put. Never forget to reset the original lengths when you have the full rig on a rest pose, and all bones, everything to a reset pose, right? Otherwise you'll be resetting wrongly. So here I'm doing this because now I have this layer, so I don't care. So let's reset everything and then hide everything again, and then I have here, I can reset here, and apparently some things were missing here after all the stuff that I've made. Okay, so those are the buffer bone, the big bendy bone, and the head bones. Move that away, please. And so here This is the base of the bendy bone spine, the first one that I had, right? So this is simple functionalities, only stretch to bone constraint, right? And this one, note the positioning of this. Oh, of course, looks like this deaf bone has some wrong positioning here. So let's fix that. It's working, but it shouldn't. It's because I have moved the positioning of that. This was one of the major fixes that fundamental fixes that I had to do. So let's put that here. It is set, and from this transformation already, using this snap to vertex, and certainly if you have the mesh showing, don't use include non-edited, then this will be snapping to everything. So to the mesh, every vertex on the meshes will be horrible. Okay, so now we can have this. I hope this doesn't make the strange thing for the. Maybe if I. Yeah, so here I'm facing some issues because of this. Maybe it was one of the reasons I've decided to make that other change, right? This won't solve it, I guess. Yeah, this won't do nothing. I think I was already experimenting. Yeah, so for some reason that I do not understand, tip 3 and 4. 3 and 4, yes. Maybe it requires the resetting, right? After doing that, let's reset everything. Can I make a only show this layer? Isn't there an option for that here? And if there is, I never took time to learn. Only show this one. No, there isn't. If there is, I cannot find it. Whatever, that's that. And now let's reset this. No, nothing. Cannot help. And the neck is still frustrated. So yeah, bad thing. So, but I'm not saving this. No problem. And anyways, I have a backup, right? So that's why I was making this organization. And now let's continue. Let's ignore this. So then another thing that is interesting is this bone is then it's using the same end handle as this one. So it's this 004, and you see 004 again. However, and it is using the same start handle 001 as this other minor bendy bone 001. And so they are sharing the same handle here, and this one's the same handle here. This one is bone constrained to the master head. And why that? Well, this is what I came up with. This is interesting. It's because then this bone, this master head, so the false eye key controller, it has this capability of rotating the head. Exactly, it's rotating the head, but it's rotating all the tip bone altogether. So this has copy transforms to that. However, below the hierarchy of this, there is this split. Let's say, actually, it's not exactly a split because this bone is not parented to the tip bone is not parented to nothing. I could parent it to perhaps, I don't know, I don't know what it could parent it to, it doesn't matter, it's following, and I can do that. But then this the head bone and the deaf head and the, see, they are both parented to the, otherwise my face rig will be disrupted, so I had to do that even though they have a copy constraint. And then this bone, it doesn't have, it's just relying on, let's see, they are parent to, yes, they are both, the control head and the deaf head, they are both parented to the tip, which is right here. And remember, I've created this one which the tip follows, and the master head is free. I could parent it to the, probably the, since the master bone, yes, I could make it part of this thing. Well, I have to reload anyway, so I'm doing this. I'll lose this, I'll have to remember those things. This creates, no, I cannot do that for some reason that I cannot identify right now. It will create horrid, oh yeah, something, never ever reset stuff on edit mode for the armature. I think it is possible. This will totally, yes, we can. On the case of the rolls, and probably scaling. No, they are. I think the bone rolls. So this can totally disrupt your entire rig. So let's go back here. Apparently, I have lost my. Yeah. So. And that was unfortunate, but I still have got this thing, so it's not so horrible. Okay, so let's fasten this up. Let's see if I have still something to... Yeah, so this is the trick about this. Wait. Let's add this to 2. No. Don't assign everything to that. Just this and this. And here we go. Okay, so this bone, it rotates the head. It's parented to this. It rotates the head, but it doesn't twist the whole thing. So it's yeah, exactly like that. It's a no, it's not a split. It's because this is not parented so to anything. So it's not like a split in the parenting, but since it has some controlling to the rest, so we can have this double posing. So this is stacking transforms to the head, but it, because of the features of this false I key F key rig, right, or the spine, this is actually valuable to have. So this is a way that I found to have double controlling, but each rotation does a different thing. So this is if we want to use the false A key, and this if you just want to rotate the head separately. And we can combine them. And at any time I can just reset the rotation of the head and maybe just rely on that. Or I can cancel this and just... Okay, and I cannot move this, I have locked, so this bone here is not supposed to change location. Anyways, it is connected parented, I guess. Yes, connected parented. So anyways, I don't want to move to be able to position it, just rotations and no scaling also. Okay, so this is good. And for the shoulders, I've already shown what was about. Then I was talking about the buffer bone on that tutorial, which is the descriptions are the goose neck tutorial with Bendy bones. And so the strategy that this makes, that this would be the wait, something here. This was supposed to move the shoulders. Some limitation here. I don't remember that. I think that I had solved that, but if not, in the worst case, no, I still cannot do that unless I got a... Okay, I don't think yeah, this was supposed to move like that. Okay, I'll have to revise this thing. And okay, so these the bone constraints, we've seen all that, and so we have the... Yeah, everything is there. And then I have to find what should I do about the base of the spine. If I will parent it to the hips bone, master hips bone, or to the master torso bone directly, and how it would relate. These relations are complicated because this is the tip, it is the handle, the first start handle of everything here. This is the parent, right? It's not the buffer bone in this case, but yes, it is the parent of... So the max spine 011, what a horrible name. Let's yeah, I'll have to rename that. And so this has got no... It's not parent to anything. And I believe if I parent here, it won't solve everything. It's just... Wait, actually this... Okay, this would work, but then there's still the hips thing that I need to recover what I had. And so... Yeah, so this rig is very, very powerful. And I'm not using Ike bone constraint nor spline Ike bone constraint. Just bendy bones and some advanced rigging tricks. So yeah, that's it, folks. I don't want to take more of your time. I'm trying to make this shorter, but this was a demonstration. I hope this was helpful enough for anyone that is curious about rigging tricks and all that. And again, I want to make a tutorial about this bendy bone spine, but it's not I still have to figure out the other things right there, right? After this is done, then I think I'll be able to make the entire tutorial I'll make it as simple as possible, right? For this whole bendy bone spine rig, which I think is relatively original stuff. I think there would be perhaps a few other ways of doing so, but this is the way I found. I found no tutorial directly about this. Maybe there exists and I'm not aware of. And this is advanced rigging, folks. This is not simple. There are many tricks here that are quite complicated, but if I had to redo this from scratch, I would stumble probably more than once. I'll have to revise my materials, but also it's not super complicated. We get experience, right, about this logic, right? So this relates with spine, torso, hips rigging stuff, like more spine rigging, right? This is can be quite complicated, and there's good tutorials about spine rigging where you can get fundamental ideas. But I think spine rigging is very peculiar, right? Because there are many ways to approach this. So before I had the spine rig with spline skinning, I had a simple F-key spine. Then I discovered I could make a spline I-key bone constrained spine that I was super motivated with that, and I think I was able to do this kind of thing already, and all these controllers, so it's very powerful. But it there's the curve object that's but it was powerful and not that complicated, so it's it can be convenient, yes. But then I started to work on bendy bones and started to learn that other spline skinning strategy, and then I found out that, well, it's cool to have these splines. It's much easier to make the rig with at least the basic one, right? And I was quite satisfied with that until I stumbled into this feature. Well, I wanted some sort of eye key controlling for 3D animation for the head in relation to the spine, and then it took me some time until I've realized how this could be achieved. And I think there would be another method with eye key bone constraint with bendy bones, right? But then that would be required like a chain, a mechanism chain of that would contain the eye key bone constraint, and then have these control bones, whatever. Maybe it required buffer bones also, I'm not sure, but they will follow the eye key, but at the same time we would be able to pose this separately along with the eye key. I don't know if this is possible. Yeah, that would require some investigation, so this is why I couldn't. I made some attempts. Maybe that would be cool if there was some tutorial about this too. But for now, this is a solution that works. See ya, folks. Next time we'll address something else. So I finished my how to say, bendy bones spine rig with this F key, I key, false eye key features. And now I can go to something else, and I think my next feature would be to solve, of course, this stuff here, the torso rig, right? Those more relational things. Then I think I want to address the arm rig, make some improvements there that I've already achieved for the leg rig, and then I don't know, maybe hair rigging. Because mouth rigging would be something for a bit later, but we're going. I'm evolving this new strategy. See ya, folks. Happy blending, and have a nice day or night, whatever. See ya.